All right, let's get right into it. Today we're talking about one of the biggest, most critical missions of our time, the global push for carbon zero. You know, the science is crystal clear, the clock is ticking, and honestly, the stakes could not be higher. So let's dive in.
Okay, let's start with a number, a really stark one. Right now, the CO2 in our atmosphere is sitting at 425.7 parts per million. So what does that even mean? Well, to put it into perspective, that's a massive 52% higher than it was before the Industrial Revolution. It's the highest it's been in all of human history.
And this is why we're seeing that number. This year alone, emissions from fossil fuels are on track to hit a brand new record, 38.1 times billion tons. So yeah, despite all the talk and even some of the progress, the main engine of climate change is actually still speeding up.
Now, this one is pretty alarming, frankly. 4 years. At the rate we're going, that's all the time we have left before we blow right past the carbon budget we need to limit global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius. That window of opportunity, it is closing, and it's closing really, really fast. But here's the thing. That harsh reality, it sparked a response like we've never seen before. The urgency is finally being met with some serious global ambition. This isn't just another problem to solve. It's a mission. And that mission, well, it has officially begun.
So who's actually on the front lines of this thing? Well, it's this massive global alliance that's starting to take shape. It's bringing together entire nations and huge corporations, all mobilizing for some real, decisive action. Let's take a look at who they are and what they're actually promising to do. Under the Paris Agreement, every country sets its own targets, and you can really see the different game plans here. The EU, for example, has a legally binding goal to get to net zero by 2050. India is taking a different approach, focusing on reducing its emissions intensity, so that's emissions relative to its economic growth, with a net zero goal for 2070. Then you have Saudi Arabia, aiming for a huge annual cut, while also trying to become a world leader in clean hydrogen. So different paths to the same goal.
Now, on the corporate side of things, this is the name you absolutely need to know. The Science-Based Targets Initiative, or SBTI. It's pretty much become the gold standard for businesses. And this isn't about making vague promises either. It's about giving companies a really clear, scientifically backed roadmap to cut their emissions in a way that actually lines up with hitting that 1.5-degree target.
And we have all these examples that prove it can actually be done. I mean, look at Maple Leaf Foods. They became the world's first major carbon-neutral food company. And they did it not just by cleaning up their own factories, but by investing in projects to offset emissions across their entire supply chain. We're talking from the farm all the way to your fork. Or how about New Belgium Brewing? They used cool tech like capturing biogas from their wastewater to help power the brewery. That helped make their famous Fat Tire Ale the first certified carbon-neutral beer in America. And it's not just manufacturers. A consulting firm like Boston Consulting Group cut its emissions per employee by more than half in just 4 years, mostly by tackling business travel and switching its offices to 100% renewable electricity.
Okay, so we've got the will, people are mobilized, but do we have the way? Do we have the tools? Absolutely. Let's get into the incredible carbon-cutting toolkit that's being put to work as we speak.
First up, we've got these amazing high-tech solutions designed to basically clean up the air. Direct air capture, or DAC, uses these giant machines that literally suck CO2 right out of the atmosphere. Then there's carbon capture and storage, which grabs it from big industrial sources like power plants before it can even escape. And carbon mineralization is this really fascinating process that actually turns CO2 into solid rock, locking it away pretty much forever.
And next, let's talk about AI. Artificial intelligence is a total game changer when it comes to efficiency. People are using it to create smart energy grids that can perfectly balance renewable power with demand. It's helping to enable precision agriculture, which can cut farming emissions by up to 30%. And it's even running smart traffic systems in our cities to cut down on all that idling and congestion.
But it's not all about fancy high-tech stuff. One of the most powerful tools we have is actually a new way of thinking, the circular economy. And this goes way beyond just recycling. It's about designing products from the get-go to be reused, to be remanufactured, and to minimize waste from the very start, all while helping regenerate nature.
So why is this circular economy idea so incredibly important? Well, just look at this chart. Switching to renewable energy is absolutely vital, no question. But it only tackles about 55% of global emissions. The circular economy is our key to going after that other 45%, all the emissions that come from industry, from agriculture, and from how we use our land.
This all sounds great in theory, right?
But how does a company or an organization actually do it? Well, it turns out there's a pretty clear blueprint that just about anyone can follow. It really boils down to 5 essential steps. Okay, step 1. You have to measure everything. That means getting data on what they call Scope 1, 2, and 3 emissions. So think of it this way. Scope 1 is the stuff you emit directly, like from a factory chimney. Scope 2 is from the electricity you buy. And Scope 3, and this is the big one, is basically everything else in your whole value chain, from your suppliers to how customers use your products. Step 2, set real, science-based goals. Third, you got to find your emission hotspots to figure out where to act first. Fourth, create a detailed plan with clear timelines. And finally, step 5, track your progress like a hawk and report it publicly. It becomes this constant cycle of getting better and better.
So, we have the commitments, we've got the tools, and we have a plan. But let's finish up with a bit of a reality check. Let's talk about the immense challenge that's still waiting for us on the path ahead.
You know, this chart really says it all. That top bar, that's the path we're on right now. The bottom bar is the steep, rapid drop in emissions we need to stay below 1.5 degrees of warming. And that huge space between them, that's the emissions gap. It is massive, and we have to close it, starting right now. And here's something that makes the whole mission even tougher, a really dangerous feedback loop. Our planet's natural carbon sinks, our forests and our oceans, they're getting weaker. Climate change itself is actually making them about 15% less effective at absorbing the CO2 we're pumping out, which means more of it stays in the atmosphere, which just speeds up the whole problem.
As one source I read put it, the fact that these natural systems are weakening is a clear signal from planet Earth. I mean, what else is it? It's a warning shot that demands dramatic, immediate action. We are pushing the planet's systems right to their breaking point. And that really leaves us with this one final question. The mission to get to carbon zero, it's not a mystery anymore. The tools, the technologies, the strategies, they're all right here, ready to go. The only real question left is whether our collective action will finally match the undeniable urgency of this moment.